We are live. Welcome back, guys. It's Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway, Frank Oliver and Company, coming to you again full of appreciation. Last Friday was our client appreciation party, and if you missed it, we're going to have another one next year. Sucks that you missed it, but we had a great time. If you didn't see it, log into Instagram, go to my Instagram page, Michael Frank ____, right? Because there's 800 million of me, and follow us. You'll see lots of content that we put on from the event. I was so thankful and appreciative to have all of the people there, especially in a, let's call it post-COVID environment, still being safe. We were outside at Bordy Vineyards, but it was really nice to be able to share and appreciate and have some fun with some of those people that we haven't seen in such a long time. Anyway, coming to you today to talk a little bit about buying a historic home. And what it looks like to buy a historic home might be a little bit different than what it might look like to buy just a normal old home, or maybe something that's 10 or 20 years old, doesn't really qualify for historic, but something that we're looking at maybe like 1800s or early 1900s, something that might be a stone or a farmhouse, something that you might not find in your everyday run-of-the-mill community. So a lot of people look into these and they forget some of the basic necessities that come along with buying a historic home. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of considerations. There's the wonder of what it's going to take to maintain. What about the investment, the property value? Is it a good investment? Well, I would say yeah, because if you buy a historic home, it's a unique proposition. Go away, phone. Bye-bye. It's a unique proposition of something that nobody else can get. And if you maintain it and you improve it and you create the opportunity to drive the market, you're going to create a very unique opportunity that in a market like today is going to drive a high sales price. And in a market like tomorrow is always going to sustain its value. So I think from an investment standpoint, it's always a good opportunity. The other thing from an investment standpoint, if you're a DIY or a renovation kind of person, you might be able to save a lot of money on traditional renovations. If you were to do a kitchen in a traditional home, you may spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. In a historic renovation home, it might cost 70 or 80 or 90 because there's other things that go into it. But the county, the state, the historic registry, they're going to give you the opportunity to save on some of those costs through tax incentives, through cash incentives, through opportunities to get a better product than you would put in your normal everyday run-of-the-mill home. You're going to create an opportunity to have a better material product. So the investment quality is even higher there. When it comes to the value of those savings, you might get something from the county in the form of a tax advantage. You might get something from the state in the form of a tax advantage, or you might be able to get a cash back incentive for doing the right kind of improvements on the home. And as we talk about the right kind of improvements, that can be really expensive because we might have to use a more qualified contractor. We don't need to go into the different qualifications of a qualified contractor, but of course, somebody that has an understanding of maybe an older or a more structurally different, or perhaps some of those materials that they used to use that they're no longer allowed to use, and things of that nature, where we have to get somebody that might be a little bit more pricey to do the same job, but we're going to save money because we're getting that back from the government. So it creates an opportunity for you to build that custom home of yours. Now, the disadvantage to buying a historic home is probably the very same thing, which is that as you're renovating it, it's going to be harder to create the same efficiencies, the same regularities, the same normalcies that we have in today's construction. So your energy bills might be a little bit higher. Or you might be limited from doing certain things like, oh, I want to take out this wall. Well, the historic registry might prevent you from doing that. But it's an advantage when you really dig deep because it creates the customization of a historic home. And ultimately, it preserves the value for the community, which is what they're all in it for. And when you're thinking about the energy efficiency, there are things that you can do to build out and create the opportunity. I mean, some of our clients live in 1800s farmhouses with 12-inch thick stone walls, and they're still creating ways to build more efficiencies within their home by putting on additional insulation or creating a higher efficiency system, let's just say, to run their home. So it does create a little bit of a nuanced difficulty to renovate and improve, but you can ultimately accomplish some of those higher efficiencies that we have in today's market. Now, some of the surprises with older homes that people don't think about are some of these unforeseen circumstances, some of these antiquated ways of doing things, whether it's plumbing or electric, and that's going to be one of those surprises that's going to cost an arm and a leg extra because you just never know what you don't know until you get into it. And therein we talk about our home inspection and how great our home inspectors are. Digging into the home is going to be a big value for you guys as you protect yourselves and you're thinking about buying into an investment that might be something that's a little bit older, a little bit more dated, and a little bit more antiquated, something that we're going to need to do is get a really good home inspector to do that evaluation. So while we bring in a great contractor that has the right certifications, we're going to bring in a great home inspector that's going to lay the right foundation and the right groundwork for you as you guys decide to buy into that historic home. Now, keep in mind, if you have any thoughts, you can always reach us, PM, DM, or subscribe to the link below if you don't already. And we thank you guys so much for coming out last week. I look forward to seeing you guys again in the near future, and I'll talk to you real soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for weekly content. Also, check out our social media pages. The links are in the description below. See you next week.